What is up, fam? How are y'all doing today? I'm doing pretty good myself. So I've got an interesting video for you guys today, and it seems Canadian Gamer has a bit of a hot take about the recent events that happened with Arcane Studios. You know, the developers of Redfall, where they came out and said that 30 frames per second is going to be the norm for a while until they decide to come out with a patch update. But anyway, since I caught you guys up and kind of filled you into what's going on, let's go ahead and watch the video. But before we do that, make sure you got yourself a nice little drink, something to eat, and let's just get this party started.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you come in there. Don't you knock? So today's topic of conversation, we are talking about the soon-to-be-released game Redfall, which was, I believe, developed by Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda, coming out on May 2nd. Now, there's been a bit of a backlash in the gaming community because recently, just a few days ago, Arcane and Bethesda announced that Redfall will be releasing at a capped 30 FPS. Yes, you heard that here. 30 frames per second.
Yeah, surprisingly, they're still keeping the 30 frames per second, guys. Like, he's not lying or anything. He's not joshing you or anything. And they're charging you $70 just for that. Just for that whole little package and that little promise that's, eventually going to come down the line.
And there's been a bit of a backlash in the gaming community. So I wanted to just sort of rant about this a little bit. So, what's the big deal? A game being released at 30 FPS. Back in the day, back in like the PS3 days, Xbox 360 days, you were lucky if a game ran at 30 FPS. Most of those games on those particular consoles, the frame rate absolutely dogged. It was like 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. Not always, but like some games with some serious frame rate pacing issues, especially on the PS3. However, if you can recall back to those days, back to those times, you guys weren't complaining about that whatsoever, barely.
I'll literally tell you what the problem is. Literally 2 generations ago, two console generations ago, it was okay to have like 30 frames per second. That was okay. But now we are in the 9th gen. We are in 2020 where we're supposed to have 60 frames per second on console. But a lot of the games that ran on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 ran pretty well. I actually went through Digital Foundry's videos again, looking at the old games again, just to kind of make sure. A lot of them ran well, I'm going to be completely honest, except for a couple games like Dead Rising 2 and Dark Souls, the original. Because if you play Dark Souls on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, you want to talk about frame rate drops, just go pay a visit to Blighttown. You'll see exactly what I mean. And trust me, a lot of people did complain about this because it affected the game in a very, very bad way.
You guys were not complaining about it. You guys didn't complain about, the frames per second on PS2. You didn't complain about it on the original Xbox. You didn't complain about it on the Dreamcast. You just keep going back and back and back and back and back.
You know what this dude and Harmon Smith have in common? No. It's not being a fanboy. It's not showing your proof. That's what I really hate when I cover these videos. They really never show the proof. They just talk out of their ass. And hey, Canadian Gamer, bit of a spoiler alert, we are in 2020. We are not back in 2003 or 2004 with those AV cables and all that, okay? Get with the times, old man. Also, I'm going to cut out a bit of the section here because all he's really talking about is like quality mode, performance mode, ray tracing. It's not important to the video, so I'm going to cut, that section out.
So you gamers have been absolutely spoiled. Because what happens is when you play a lot of these games, and I've talked about it a bit on this channel, when you're playing a game at 30 FPS and then you flip on performance mode and you see how much smoother it is at 60 FPS, in my eyes, I find it hard to go back to 30 FPS. I find it really hard to do that. Even if the graphical fidelity has been somewhat limited on performance mode, I'll take performance mode any day of the week.
Then what the hell was the point of this video then? If you prefer the performance mode, then you should be making a rant video about how dumb it is for them to have 30 frames capped on the game and they'll patch it in later. What was the point of this video again?
So the issue with that is, if you didn't have the option for performance mode, it may not be as apparent. You got to remember, a lot of us played these older games on the Xbox One, PS4. Again, played a lot of these games on the Xbox 360 at 30 FPS, and we didn't even think about it because your eyes are trained to adjust to the 30 FPS. It's only once you jump from 30 FPS to 60 in real time and jump back to 30 that you see how jarring it is. So, a lot of the gamers out there, now this is, again, very niche. This isn't the rest of the gamers out there in the world that don't watch YouTube. This is just a small group of YouTubers and social media influencers and people in the retro community that are making a big deal about this when it's actually much ado about nothing.
This dude seriously just pulled a Harmon Smith on us, blaming the big YouTubers, the influencers, the people talking about on Twitter. He just pulled a Harmon Smith. And just maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes ago, you just said in your own words that you find it hard to go back to 30 frames per second. And you still don't understand why people are making a big deal about this. The vice president of marketing himself basically said in his own words that the standard for video games on the Series X is going to be 60 frames per second. Not only that, we have also seen gameplay of this game, and it does not look that good, okay? It does not look good to the point where it needs to be capped at 30 frames per second. This looks like a game, I cannot remember the name of the game. Redfall looks like State of Decay 2, but instead of having zombies, you have vampires with powers. And it just looks a little bit better than State of Decay 2.
If anything, Arcane Studios should be commended for deciding to release this game at a capped 30 FPS.
This troglodyte is still using that sound effect to this day. Holy shit, you want to talk about an ego.
You know, if they need a little bit more time to make sure that this game runs appropriately at 60 FPS, so be it. They've already announced that the game will run at 60 FPS at some point in the near future. Big freaking deal. I don't know why people are crying about this.
And nobody, and I do mean nobody, would care except for maybe a couple Sony ponies that it got delayed for optimization issues. If they came out and said, hey, we've got a couple problems with this game that we need to work out in order to get 60 frames per second, like we promised you guys, nobody would fucking care.
A lot of you guys really need to go outside and touch grass, literally. You need to walk outside, go outside, spend the day outside, and stop spending so much time on social media. It's ridiculous. A lot of you guys that are complaining about this are, the same people that are probably not even interested in this game. Now, the game looks incredible. It may even be a day one purchase for me. I don't know yet. It looks really good.
I'm really not surprised he said that. I'm really not surprised. You want to know why? Because his videos look like crap. Holy God, dude, what do you do with your video camera? Do you record like with a potato or something? Like maybe you need to go outside and touch grass. Maybe get some better visuals in your eyes, because whatever you're doing with your videos to have that visualization right there, trying to do like an old-timey thing or whatever it is, you need to get rid of it now.
And again, I've never had a problem playing a game at 30 FPS. A lot of the first-person shooters back in the day were capped at 30 FPS, okay? It doesn't mean the game's unplayable. Oh, God, you guys, it's just like you're out to lunch. Seriously, you're out to lunch. It's funny. We have all this stuff going on in the world. The economy's gone to shit. There's a war going on. There's people homeless, starving in the streets. There's a lot of people out there that have real world situations going on, okay? Whereas if you told them about your little problem about Redfall running at 30 FPS, Okay, if that was only their only problem that they had to deal with, they would be taking that in a heartbeat over what they're dealing with. But you guys that are living with your first world problems, and you're sitting there crying about a game that you're probably not even interested in playing because the game's capped at 30 FPS, and you're jumping on a social media bandwagon.
Man, I'm telling you right now, that brings back some memories. Back in 2005, 2006, a lot of people use this argument against you to get one on top of you and kind of insult you. Like, they don't think that this could be used against them, too. Say, Mr. Superman, why don't you go out and help the elderly? Or go to the pound and go help the kitties and the puppies? Or better yet, go help the homeless people. They could really use your time, and you could save the world, Mr. Superman.
Oh, that Arcane Studios, how dare they not give me my 60 FPS? You guys just need to pump the brakes just a little bit, okay? Is the game unplayable at 30 FPS? No. Dreamcast guy acts like it's a slideshow.
Are you sure about that? Are you really, really sure? Can you make that promise for me? Pretty please, with that cherry on top? Can you? Can you? Because, you know, they have a track record, especially with the game studio they're under, called Bethesda, where they have the most laggiest game in the industry. And God knows what horrors await us when that game releases. And the game may die before even that patch update comes out. Can you pretty promise, please?
No, the game will be serviceable at 30 FPS. And if you're not happy with 30 FPS, hey, you can wait until the 60 FPS patch is released, or you can play it on PC. It's not really a big deal. The Xbox ecosystem, Xbox, is not just the console anymore, okay? Xbox, the brand, is the console and the PC. So if you want to play it at 60 FPS, go play it on the PC, okay? Otherwise, wait a couple of weeks and the patch will be released. You guys are crying about nothing.
Or, hear me out on this option, and you're going to love this one, delay the game. Just delay it. Nobody would be upset for it being delayed if they came out again and said it's due to optimization issues. We can't get the game to run at 60 frames, so we'll be asking for a little more time and ask for your patience also. Nobody would be upset.
The game is going to run buttery smooth at 30 FPS, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to press X to doubt on that one, especially with your experience. Yeah, press X to doubt.
That's the key thing. They want to get the game out the door, make sure that it's running appropriately, okay? They've already delayed this game once or twice before, okay? Arcane can't delay this game again, okay? You guys don't seem to understand. There's a lot of shareholders at play, people that own stocks in the company, that are expecting a solid Q2 result.
Yeah, let me just say this real quickly. Fuck those fat cats. Those are the people, the reason why our video games these days turn out to be absolute dog shit. Because they want to rush out these games without giving the appropriate time for these games to be finished. And if those fat cats lose money on this, well, I'm going to sleep really good knowing that they did lose money.
Okay, and they can't afford to delay this game. If the game is ready to rock at 30 FPS, okay, and everything else is ready to go, we'll release the game at 30 FPS on the Xbox, and then at a later date drop the 60 FPS mode, okay? There's no point releasing the game at 30 FPS and 60 FPS if there's issues with the 60 FPS mode in particular, because that's just going to draw even more negativity. But you guys don't seem to want to look at it like that. You guys just want to, just for the sake of clicks, you want to go out there and complain and cry about how it's not running at 60 FPS.
You know, I got this weird feeling in my stomach, kind of like State of Decay 2. Something tells me that the 60 frames per second patch is going to be the least of their problems when this game releases. Something tells me that there's not going to be enough substance for this game. There's going to be bugs, glitches, you name it.
Guys, think about it. Think about it from a 360-degree perspective, okay? The game is ready to rock at 30 FPS. Just let Arcane release the game like that, okay? And if you don't want to enjoy the game, don't play it. If it's on Game Pass, you've got an option. Again, you can go on PC and play it.
Dude, oh, seriously? Okay, what you meant to say was 180, not 360, because I'm going to end up in the same position I am right now, not happy that this game is not going to have 60 frames per second. Secondly, That gatekeeping tone that you're trying to do right now is not working. You do realize people in the past have tried to use that argument and has officially killed off games. That same argument that you use have almost killed off the Destiny community, because they use that argument a lot. If you don't like it, don't play it. And I've seen the player base, when they were insulting people, saying that to them, I've seen the player base drop. Also, I will not be playing it on PC because it has Denuvo on it. And the Lord knows, if Denuvo is on a PC game, it is going to run horribly.
Or you can wait a couple of weeks or a couple of months, however long it takes for the patch to be released for 60 FPS. But again, I just want to stress, when you hear these people on social media complaining about Redfall, and again, the whole social media thing these days, it's all about a rain cloud, okay? It's just a wet blanket of negativity. Nobody says anything positive anymore. It's always negativity, okay? Negativity sells.
Well, no duh, dude. They thrive. The corporations thrive on the negative attention. Even a monkey could figure this out. Hey, why don't you go on Nintendo's door right now and knock on their door and ask them how they're handling the negative attention that they're getting?
So when you see somebody bitching and moaning and crying about Redfall, just remember it's just a small niche group of people on Twitter and YouTube that are complaining about this, okay? The rest of the world doesn't give two fucks about what these people are saying.
It's not a small amount of people that are very upset about this situation, about the frame rates. They're also upset about the situation that Denuvo is going to be on there. And it's been confirmed by Steam, on the Steam page, that Denuvo is going to be in there, along with Bethesda's crappy little login system. And frankly, at this point, we don't know what else is in there. For all we know, there could be microtransactions in store. Their word don't mean shit anymore to us. And we're going to wait till launch. And I'm going to tell you right now, if it comes out like a buggy mess, I'm going to rip this game apart. And we are finally done with his video. We made it to the end. Pat yourselves on the back if you've made it this far. But like I always say at the end of my videos, please like and comment in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I always like talking to you guys. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. I've got more content coming for you guys. And, you know, it's always free. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, fam.